Okay. Thank you.
But we will give you guys an opportunity again to do your clicking, get that out of the way.
To do the clicking. Thank you, officer.
Just want the clicking sounds.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so not now.
Can we start? Please.
Forget about it.
Bye, Chief.
And Mr. Mafuria joining us.
Okay, now I have resources available. Can you find it?
Interest, so it came up to 2 years. That's a good investment. That's why we got to use it. But we lost everything.
That's next week.
And most of them were single kids and Amy was going to get someone outside the process.
Yes, I am so fortunate. That's been
Just waiting on the accused to report.
Remember, guys, do it afterwards, not now. No, not now. After.
Yes, I'm ready on the accused. As for please, Your Worship, this is case number A144 of 2024, the matter of State versus Joslin Smith and 3 others. Appearances are as follows. Today is the 13th day of May 2024. Presiding officer is Y. Sipoyo. Public prosecutors, Advocate Hiraman. For the defense, Mr. Mafuya and Mr. Smeda are present. This matter is on the roll today for the purposes of investigation.
Would please, Your Worship, confirm our appearance for case number 1 and 2, Your Worship.
Please, you should confirm appearance on behalf of accused number 3 and 4.
Your Worship, I can place the following on record. Firstly, investigations are ongoing. All information that is being received by the South African Police Services are being followed up. I can further confirm that forensic reports have been received, as well as cell phone downloads. We are in the process of analyzing that data. On completion of this investigation, this court will be informed of the forum that the matter will be tried. The state's request today is for a further postponement for investigation. By consent with my learned friends for the defense, we're requesting the matter be postponed until the 15th of July, if that date suits the Honorable Court. I have canvassed all these issues with my learned friend, and as I've indicated, this is postponement by consent. Those are my submissions, unless the court wants to hear me on anything specific. Thank you.
Please, you also confirm the citizens raised by my local colleagues that the matter can be postponed to further investigation by consent to us. Please.
And this gentleman sitting back to the court. Tap off. And please go back now towards the court. Thank you. Call case number.
Your Worship, also to confirm the submissions made, Your Worship, and the date will be brought, Your Worship, for please.
Did you say 15 July?
Indeed, that is correct, Your Worship.
This matter has, by agreement between your attorneys, is going to be postponed to the 15th of July for further investigation. You will be in custody until then, and hopefully on the next date, investigation will be complete and there will be a determination of the forum where your matter will be heard. You will be in custody until the 15th of July. You all understand?
Staat van Ile zal dan ook uitgesteld worden, volgens dan die besluitings. Dan zal die staat van Ile dan uitgesteld worden voor verder onderzoek naar die 15 juli toe. En dan zal u in die tijd, dan zal die onderzoek dan ook voltooid wees. Dan zal u ook ingelig worden, waar zal dit gehouden worden. So, allemaal van u gaan in erfenis gehouden worden, tot dan. Verstaan u dat zo? Understand, Your Worship?
Please, the court, Your
Is
Worship.
that the only matter?
That is indeed. May I ask that the court adjourn? Thank you, Your Worship.
Sino allemaal para
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Wat is dit op die mak?
Entities to help and assist in this regard, because we wouldn't want to leave any stone ultimately unturned. So that will still continue, and when information is fed to the detectives, it must ultimately be followed up. That has been our stance, so that we can ultimately see that any lead is being tracked. Lisa, your question is quite upsetting, considering just last week information was placed in the public domain that was deeply inaccurate. We are wanting to again send a very strong message that the South African Police Service, as the authority in this particular matter, should be the one, together with the state and the NPA, to release any such information. So I can confirm that has already been confirmed to be fake news, which was spread by politicians in the interest potentially of wanting to remain relevant in this particular case. And that should be condemned when information is shared on social media, which isn't accurate, which isn't verified, and which ultimately adds further pain and trauma to the community of Saldanha and the family.
Okay, any other questions?
In the initial forensic, testings, there were some blood samples. There was pieces of clothing that was also taken as well. It was already confirmed in the media that that was retrieved back, and it actually confirmed that it did not belong to Joslin. So that has already been confirmed.
Before the follow-up, some new questions.
Wat is die confession van Rens? Daar was gesê dat Rens 'n full confession gegee het en dat
Which are you from a media house, ma'am?
No, I'm not.
Okay, not from a media house. Just hold on, please, ma'am. Thank you. Any other questions before I give follow-ups? Before I give follow-ups an opportunity, any new questions? Before I give follow-ups an opportunity. Okay, none. Okay,
Just the
Lisa.
last one, MSC, do we know if Interpol is still being part of this investigation at all?
There's another question over here.
Minister, this is probably close to the third month where you guys are talking about politicians spreading fake news, using law. When are you guys making arrests? Like, are you tiptoeing around them because elections are approaching?
One more question. Do we know what the resources are still in the area that have been deployed, that are still currently working on the search to find Joslin? Just maybe an update, how many members, what resources are being deployed to find her.
Okay, thank you.
I can confirm that even in court, I saw one of the lead detectives that is from the PC's office that is still actively involved in this particular case together with the local precinct. So that will continue. I don't have the actual amount, but I saw the lead detective and actually engaged him prior to the court appearance. I can also confirm that if there's any entity outside of the borders of South Africa, I have received confirmation that those relationships will continue in the interest of wanting to ensure that crime is actually brought to a standstill. So that will continue even if it's Interpol or any particular entity that is that could help and assist in this regard. With regards to the narrative of politicians getting involved in various information sharing, often unverified, as the Western Cape government, we have always been clear that politicians must stay clear of that, and the South African Police Service must ultimately bring those particular persons to book. It doesn't bode well for any particular investigation when false narratives are spread, and it could potentially compromise an entire investigation as well. So we have always been clear from our side that politicians should stay clear of actually spreading fake news and actually trying to get involved in any and all investigations for that part.
So we're not going to be seeing arrests or you opening a case, you laying a charge anytime soon. I mean, if you're saying that spreading misinformation takes away from resources, then will you be, going to a police station to lay a charge against politicians that are nameless and faceless? My stance has been, and even though the media is all standing here, I'm going to take you into confidence with this following reply. It's very difficult during a time for me to go and make that case. Those politicians will ultimately claim that they are a martyr for Joslin and for other young people that have gone missing. And I don't think it's in this particular state for me as a politician to go and make that case. It will add further fuel to this entire exchange since Joslin disappeared, because when you listen
to these politicians making these claims, it's as if they are wanting another politician to go and make a case so that they can ultimately claim that they will go to prison for Joslin. And hence my view with the South African Police Service is to ensure that any and all videos that politicians are making, the South African Police Service must act on it. And that is the role of the South African Police Service.
Thanks, guys. We'll do the Afrikaans for those who need Afrikaans. Newsroom Africa, I think you guys don't need Afrikaans. You need a one of them.
I'm sorry, I can't go and make the case myself.
No, but as oversight
Okay,
role.
just ENC and new SABC Afrikaans.
Can we have a live?
One-on-one, yeah.
No, live at 10.
10. Quarter to. Okay. So we just want to do the Afrikaans. I just want to do the Afrikaans with you. Afrikaans.
Okay.
Do you want to stand on this side? Okay. Just the same summary in Afrikaans. Do you need to step that way? Are you okay? Fine.
Op dag 84 is ons weer hier en ons sien dat die gereg baie stadig voortgaan. Ons wil hê dat die ondersoek moet tot spoedige stop kom, maar ons weet dat die gereg moet ook sy stap vorentoe neem. Ons het al reeds nou in die hof gehoor dat die selfoon downloads het al reeds plaasgevind en dit word nou geanalyseer en ons wil hê dat die Suid-Afrikaanse Polisiediens moet een en elke leidraad wat hulle nog ook kry opvolg sodat hierdie saak tot 'n einde kan kom en ons hoop dat Joslin nog steeds gekry sal word unharmed en sy kan terug dan gereunite word met haar extended familie.
Maybe I missed it, just repeating the space highlighting the big issue around missing persons.
Hierdie saak wys weer eens hoe Joslin wat vermis is, die hele situasie rondom vermiste persone groot in die media en in die gesprekke van baie mense in die Weskaap en Suid-Afrika gesit het. Dit is iets wat ons nooit wil hê in ons provinsie of in Suid-Afrika nie, om te weet dat 'n persoon van hulle familie af geneem word, die hartseer, die pyn, die trauma wat hy bring. Ons wil nie daai hier hê nie en ons het gesien hoe hierdie saak in die media domein geplaas is en baie kere vir politieke eie doeleindes. En ons wil nooit hê dat enige persoon moet speel met die gevoelens van 'n gemeenskap of daai familie rondom 'n vermiste persoon.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Once that you make it 5 minutes for us for live quickly.
At what time? What time is that? 10.
Okay, where do you want to do that?
What time do you want to do it
Can we
like
do
now?
it maybe now, next
Yeah.
5 minutes? Yeah? 10 o'clock you'll be free.
Yeah, that's cool. So what is done here with soon? Where do you want to do it?
Out here.
Are you gonna be okay with him there? They're busy there.
leads are still being followed up because we are ultimately wanting to ensure that no stone is left unturned. And during this particular difficult time, not only for the West Coast and Saldanha Bay, but for the Western Cape, we would never want any young person to disappear or to be taken against their will by any particular persons. And here the 4 accused appeared together in court for the very first time, but we trust that the investigation will continue in this regard.
And Regan, just with what's been happening in the Joslin Smith case, just with regards to what's also been happening in relation to other missing persons in the province, just your view on the matter and how it's impacted this, highlighting the issue around missing persons here in the province.
We can confirm that since 2019 to date, there has been 2 particular matters involving missing persons that actually led to court appearances, which ultimately secured 2 convictions. We are ultimately wanting to ensure that any person that goes missing, whether it is in our province or in South Africa, the perpetrators in that regard must be held accountable. So from our side, we are working with various municipalities and the South African Police Service to ensure that the activation that should take place once someone is reported missing must be cemented within a particular community at the police station, so that within the first 72 hours that any and all leads are quickly followed up, that we can ensure that any person could ultimately be reunited with their family.
And when you were speaking earlier, you said that it seems as if the wheels of justice are turning slowly. Just in your view, do you think that the case is progressing at the speed that you would like to see?
Most definitely, on the one hand, it is turning slowly. On the other hand, we would want the state to ensure that they have a proper case to actually present in court that could ultimately lead to accused persons being convicted. We wouldn't want any mess up in this particular case. We wouldn't want any piece of information to not be thoroughly investigated. So even in the analysis of the cell phone data, we would want that to be properly done so that any and all matters are not chucked out of court or thrown out of court that could derail an entire case. Hence, we are continuing to engage the South African Police Service so that if there is any further leads, that must be quickly operationalized, because our main aim is still to ensure that Joslin is actually returned unharmed.
And Regan, with regards to the sentiment in the community, in the Saldanha and surrounding areas, just have you managed to go to those communities and maybe get a sense of what they're feeling and what the energy and what the feelings are there?
Whenever there is any crime, any murder, missing person within a particular community, we have often seen that community can be left traumatized, can be left extremely upset, considering that no person wants to live in an area that is seeing high levels of crime. So the frustration that the community members are often echoing is entirely legitimate when we consider that any person wants to live in an area that is free of any crime, where they can ultimately live in dignity. But it is very concerning that just last week, once again, we saw politicians putting information in the public domain that was false, that was fake news, and that also upsets the community, because now the community is hearing information that isn't verified and actually traumatizes the community further. So our appeal is again to politicians to allow the South African Police Service to do its job and ultimately not to interfere in this particular case and not to spread fake information.
Okay. And then with regards to the actual search for little Joslin Smith, who went missing now almost 3 months ago, can you perhaps give us an update on where that search is at, and maybe if you know what resources are still being deployed to search for little Joslin?
Currently, there is a team of investigators from the Provincial Commissioner's Office that is working closely with the local Saldanha Bay and the West Coast District SABC members. But where there has been any leads or information coming from outside of the district or the province, that is also being operationalized via our PC's office together with SABC and other entities outside of the province. So if, for example, information comes to the fore that Joslin was either spotted or she could be in a particular vicinity, the cooperation will then be activated with the relevant agency in that particular district or in that particular province.
Okay. And is the law enforcement agencies, are they working with any other perhaps law enforcement agencies outside of the country, maybe international organizations that could also assist with the search for little Joslin?
From our side, we can confirm that no entity working in law enforcement have been barred from working with the South African Police Service in this regard. So in one particular case, there was matters where international partners and stakeholders were also engaged to ensure that ultimately no stone is left unturned. So we wouldn't want any particular person to come back and indicate that they didn't follow up on a particular lead. So from our side, we are agitating that that should continue to happen.
Okay, Minister, we understand you have other commitments and we understand you're pressed for time. So thank you very much for joining us and thank you for that comprehensive update. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Of course, Community Safety here in the Western Cape, Regan Allen, who was just giving us a bit of a briefing after court proceedings have been concluded here at the Vredenburg Magistrates Court, where the 4 accused in the disappearance of 6-year-old Joslin Smith just appeared briefly here at the court. Of course, the matter has been postponed to the 15th of July, and that's of course for further investigation. We will continue to keep tabs on the story and we'll continue to bring you more as the story develops. With that, back to you in Studio Ayanda.